I hear a whisper through the trees, a little dream I had when I was but a lad, that life is surely beaten and set free. I am the king of absolutely nothing, a belly that is proud and full.
Ladies and gentlemen, Kyle Kinane.
Thank you. Wow. Salt Lake City. Natural choice for profanity-laden stand-up comedies. What's your target demo, Kyle? Oh, polygamous snowboarders, of course. Thank you for having me to record this special. I do appreciate it. We're here. We're going to do it. I'm just happy to be out in the world. I'm happy to be back. Doing live comedy. We've been back for a little while, but I need this. I can't perform comedy without the checks and balances of a human interaction. You know, over the pandemic, I was writing what I thought was comedy, but I didn't have this checks and balance system. Turns out I was just writing little manifestos. That's all I was writing. I was writing little manifestos, and I wouldn't find out about that until like just weeks later when I would do a Zoom comedy show, which was just the bane of my existence. I'd just sit there, just in my room, write a joke, like that's perfect, I've never written anything funnier. And then just sit in the darkness for weeks with a bottle, and then my computer would light up like time for Zoom comedy. And I would just lean in, I was just pale and too close to the camera. Just like every conspiracy theorist, like 5G makes them read your minds. Like that was just too close with like one weird lamp offset in the background to do comedy. And I'm like, all right, Kyle, you're up. And I just say some shit like, the problem with the left is that we're too empathetic to people with mental health issues, and that's why we'll never produce a viable assassin. They're like, oh, hey. You can't, that's not like ha-ha, I get it, but you can't say that, not on Zoom anyway. They're recording this. Now you gotta explain jokes to the FBI. Is that what you wanted to do? Now you explain comedy to the feds. Even just the minutia of doing live stand. I mean, the stuff that comes along with it, I'm excited to be back to. Even the traveling elements, I'll be happy with. I'm excited to be on airplanes again. I'm sure that'll get obnoxious soon enough, but I just like being on there. I like saying thank you to the pilot when I walk off the plane. I like doing that. How many people say thank you to the pilot when you get off the plane? All right. It's a decent amount, but it's not everybody. What's wrong with you? Why are you gonna be a jerk? That's all they want. That's all a pilot wants. If you fly, that's the first thing. As soon as they park, the door just flies open at the front. They're just like... Hey, did you notice how we didn't all die? You're welcome. You're welcome for that. I did that for you. And we all just shuffle off in our pajama bottoms and Crocs, like, don't make eye contact with me. So rude. That's all they want is a thank you for that job. They're up there. They're tucked in up there. They are tucked in with dress shoes the whole time. And we're back there with like half a boner and sweatpants. Like, nodding off on pills and tiny bottles of booze. They're wearing a goddamn sport coat up there for you. You ever look in a cockpit? It's a panic room. It's just a chamber. It's a chamber of anxiety for anybody that doesn't know. And they know all the buttons, all the switches. They know what to do. The windshield, that's arbitrary. That's for us. If a pilot sees something wrong out the windshield, we're dead. We're already dead. Like, Nobody's gonna get on a plane without a windshield. That's for you guys to feel all right. If something's going wrong out there, we're fucked, man. We're straight up fucked, I'll tell you that. At the beginning, they get in there and just know, they're like, every switch, like, don't die, don't die, don't die, will not die. We won't die here, won't die if I do that, better not die, better not die, better not die. Oh, here's the big old good luck lever, we need that. Don't die, shit, almost, if I didn't do this, we would have definitely died. Fuck, thank God, don't die, and here we go, not dying. And then we all just hung over, shuffling off like the landing was a little choppy, I don't know. Meanwhile, I will tip a Lyft driver like an angel that walks the earth. I will just throw my whole wallet at somebody like, thank you for being a literal messenger from God who drove me home from the bar that I walked to 5 hours ago. You're the most blessed angel. What's your name? I'm gonna name my firstborn child after you. They're already born, but they suck, and maybe with your name they'll be better. So I'm gonna call them that. And that's thank you for your service. I've said thank you for your service to a Lyft driver more than I've ever said to anybody in an actual military uniform. Even the little things about travel, like even just staying in hotels. I have to stay in hotels for this. And I like staying in hotels. They're always tidier than I keep my own place. I like that. I'm like, oh, that's what a made bed. Look at that. It's just not this omelet of blankets that's on top. Okay. And don't be the there's always somebody like, I like staying in hotels. Somebody's like, hotels are filthy. I'm gonna show you a YouTube video where somebody went in with a black light video. Don't do that. Don't be that person. I know, I'm not an asshole. I'm aware of what the world is like. Let people like what they like. Don't think that you're better because you ruined what somebody else enjoys. Oh, you like hotels? Don't look behind the curtains. That's rough. That's the type of person's like, oh, you like shrimp? You know that line on the back is poop. Shut the fuck up. Let people like what they like. I know that hotels can be horrifying places, but I don't look under the bed. I don't do the little dust check on stuff. I just need the illusion of cleanliness. I don't look at the pillows. God forbid. Don't. Never look at pillows. Just do that for yourself. If you're a single man in here, leave now, go buy new pillows. Go right now. You're like, why? That's why. Because you just go right now, you can go to Bed Bath & Beyond, stop at anybody's mailbox, take their coupon out of it, and get 20% off. Doing bed laundry in the daylight, linens if you're classy. I was doing my bed laundry in the daylight, sober, so I was retaining details. And I went to unsheath the pillow because the pillowcase, that's the case for the pillow that preserves the pillow, does not. I don't even know how I got pillows. Nobody remembers, especially dudes. You don't remember when you bought pillows. I moved to Los Angeles in 2003 with one pillow. Eventually, I had 5 pillows. At 1.7, then down to 3. No idea. It's just like living in a hostel. Something you get friends, come and go. And I unsheathed what I assumed to be a pillow one day in the daylight, and what I extracted from that pillowcase, it had the same just texture and patina as a Wild West wanted poster. It was just, it was gold and slick. The edges were crumbly and curled. One side was burnt. How did that even happen? It looked like a map to the New World. That's what it looked like. It looked like, it clearly, like whatever fluids come out of my face at night the liquid had just expanded and then create rudimentary coastlines of the Americas over here. You could tell this is how they went from the Mediterranean to here. This is where the old gays went looking for spices back in the day. That's how we got the spots. What happened when you were gay back in the day and you couldn't tell people in the 1300s in Europe that you're gay. You just like, me and the boys were going on a cruise. And that's how you had to be gay. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, we're looking for cinnamon. That's gay. That's super gay. But that's what they had to do, so thank them for that. You thank them for the spices. This part of the pillow just says, here be monsters. That's all it says there. just browns and yellows and different, and whatever does that to the pillow comes out of my head. Comes out of my head at night when you don't know what's happening. Your unconscious being protects you of the horrors of your physical realm at that point. We all think like, oh, I snore, but probably cute like. Probably whimpers and wheezes. Probably like a new little kitten. No, you snore like a dragon with no lower jaw. That's how you snore. And you emit fluid like a chocolate fountain filled with mucus. That's how we all sleep. Just. You snore like a fire plug filled with pudding. That's how you snore. And you think you can forget until you look at your pillow, which is now just a sponge that collects the memories of your nightmares. Just a document of your savagery. So anyway, I don't look at the pillows in the hotel. I just like staying. I like staying in the hotels. I lay in bed way past checkout. That's what I like now. Just base level excitement. Like I use words in conversation that I don't really know what they mean. And that's my bungee jumping at this point. That's it. It's just like I don't know, man. It sounds pretty ubiquitous to me. Non sequitur. I think that's perfectly sequitur. But so that's my cheat. I just like laying in bed way past checkout and seeing if I get caught. That's like, checkout's at noon, we'll see. You gotta lay real still. You gotta be real quiet. I call it pulling an Anne Frank. That's what I call it. I lay there. Gets real scary when they're in the hall. Uh-oh. I know, okay, it's hard to do that kind of joke when I look like I should be at home plotting to kidnap a Democratic governor. So... Let it be known, I have to say, I am not anti-Semitic. I'm like the most Semitic. I love them. I won't go to the Holocaust Museum, though. Nope. I'll explain. It's not like I'm just gonna move on to the next joke. He let that one hang out there for a while. No, I don't want to go to the Holocaust Museum because I am a coward. That's it. That's as simple. It happened, all right? That's not the route I'm going with this. It happened, I know it happened, and it was bad. Real bad. Like the worst. And I know that, and I'm too scared to deal with the emotions that would come with visiting a Holocaust museum. Like, that's a big day. That's wow, you don't want to do anything else? Okay. And shit, maybe I'm wrong. Does anybody here want to go to the Holocaust Museum? Okay, all right, okay. And anybody who says yes, it's always in theory. It's never like, okay, tomorrow. They're like, oh, I didn't know tomorrow. It's like, I have plans, but let's put it on a calendar and think about doing the right thing. No, we're all cowards, and that's okay. Glad the Holocaust Museum is there. It's there for education, and that's how the majority of people that go to the Holocaust Museum, they are field trips, which I find a tad ironic. That just somebody's like, oh, we got this Holocaust Museum. How are we going to get people in there? We could transport them in against their will. It's like, whoa, hey. Has our marketing guy even been inside yet? Because that's like a main thing that happened. You can't just look at the pictures. You got to read the captions. They didn't just love trains, man. That one's a bit too far. That one went. I was kind of a hypocrite through the whole pandemic. Like, Again, I tell you get vaccine, I tell you trust science. I went on a cruise. I went on a cruise during the pandemic. Yeah, all right, here it is. Well, first off, of course the cruise was gonna happen. It was a heavy metal cruise. It was a cruise filled with heavy metal bands. Of course that was gonna set sail. Metalheads are not scared of viruses. Do you know metalheads, like old school? They half of them are walking around with gonorrhea that they got at the original Ozfest. And they're proud of it. They're hanging on to it like it's a sourdough starter. They're like, Yeah, man, these warts saw Randy Rhoads live, dude. They had protocols. I forget whichever test is where you do a test in front of your computer and then a doctor's watching you from the doctor. I just gave a stranger access to my webcam. This special might not be the thing you see on the internet of me coming up soon. Yeah, I'm like, why are you just in a bedroom too, man? Like, be in a laboratory. You got the same bad lighting setup as me. What is that, a Mudvayne poster in the back? You just work for the cruise. You work for the cruise. I got this stranger, and I'm just in my room. He's watching me. I'm 4 knuckles deep with a Q-tip into my gray matter. That's the closest I'm ever gonna feel to a cam girl, was that moment. It's a guy just watching me drill my orifice. Oh, deeper, daddy? Okay. What do you want me to do now? Spin it a little? Ooh, you're sick. You're naughty. They say they take protocols. They're like, oh, we will do an intensive questionnaire to make sure you're healthy. It's when they give you the questionnaire. You spend all your money to get on the boat, then you spend your money to fly to get to the port city, and then your bags are packed. They take your bags, those are on the boat. All your money, all the shit's on the boat. And there's a little guy in a fun kiosk, if you've never been on a cruise. There's a guy before you get on the boat, and he's just a little party guy. Maybe he's got maracas or something. Right? Like, time to buy your drink package, so you have to gamble on how much booze you think you're gonna drink on the cruise before you get on the cruise. And nobody is tame at that point. You're going on a cruise. Nobody's like, I better go for the bronze tier. I'm probably gonna take it easy on the way to Cozumel. No, everybody's like, fucking diamond package, baby. I will absolutely drink $975 worth of alcohol every day on this cruise. You will not. You absolutely will not. By the next day, you will have one shaky glass of white wine in your hand. Just like, I at least gotta break 150 to feel good about myself. You're gonna poison yourself out of your own frugality. And now you spend more money on that. Now it's time to get on the boat, and here we go. And now you're on the plank, on the way to the boat. There's the boat. Seawater is just underneath you. Fish and dolphins. There's the land. Sayonara, suckers. And that's when they hand you the questionnaire. That's where they expect you to be truthful about your ailments in that moment. And everybody, like nobody's, I got the sniffles, always or never. What do you want me to say? What? My parents are first cousins. You bet your ass they are. Let me on this boat. There's zip lines to be zipped. One of the questions is like, do you have diarrhea? How dare you? Do I have diarrhea? I'm going on a cruise. If I don't have it now, give me 20 minutes. In a half hour, I'll be on my 3rd crab daiquiri of this voyage. It is not a drink that is included in the diamond package. It's one that I'll assemble myself by getting a pitcher of any tropical beverage that I will then take right to the buffet, which I will treat like a death row inmate. Asparagus dipped in hot fudge, why not? We're gonna die. That's where I'll get an armful of crab legs and hang them off the pitcher, what for dipping? In 45 minutes, an employee of this cruise line will come by the hot tub where I've parked myself and tell me to cease my behavior immediately because I will be in that hot tub playing my favorite game of all time called Guess the Catch of the Day. It's not a game, it's really just a sex crime. It's where I, Kyle Kinane, am sitting there swirling one crab leg around whatever warm gin and fruit is left in the pitcher. I'll be wearing men's swim trunks, the old-timey kind where there's an outer shell and an inner panty. Any stranger unfortunate enough to sit in that hot tub with me will now be a contestant of the game. And I'll say, I wonder what the catch of the day is. And they'll go, catch of the day. And that's why I'll just move the outer shell to the side, revealing my netted genitals. And I'll say, oh, it looks like a shrimp and 2 scallops today. That's the game. Nobody wins. Nobody wins. Do I have diarrhea? I'll shit off the side of this boat if I want to. I'll hang my lily white ass off the mezzanine and I will unload into the life rafts. Women and children first, be my guest. What are you gonna do? Turn it around? We're in international waters, bitch. Don't call yourself Carnival if you're not ready for the implications. I don't go on many cruises. But that's the thing. Like, listen, I'm going to go on to vaccine. I'm pro-vaccine, pro-science, but I behave in very anti-vax ways. One of those is I keep eating at Chipotle. I know it's dangerous, and I engage in that behavior freely. I'm like, it's freedom, not fear. I will not live in a prison made up of your paranoia. Now, well, they got that white queso dip back on the menu anyway. Also, Chipotle kills people every year. Every year, Chipotle has to have a press conference where they're like, yeah. I'm surprised we're back here again, too, but somebody pissed in the spinach again or something. You know? Anyway, long story short, we're sorry for your loss, we're sorry. But we're gonna make it up to you. We're gonna offer a BOGO every Tuesday in July. For your loss. You get an extra burrito on account of the love, your bereavement burritos. For your bereavement. There's some, it'll tie together later. So I ate that. And like I can self-diagnose food poisoning at this point. I'm pretty familiar. I'm like, here we go again. Dancing with this smelly mistress another evening. Food poisoning moves around your torso in a way that it's just looking for a way out. It's like a bank heist went south and their plan B wasn't really dialed in. You're like, oh, the front doors are blocked off. What do we do, boss? I don't know. We can tunnel out the basement or jump off the roof, but we're getting out of this bitch one way or another. Like, that's food poisoning. This was different. This did not behave like this. This just started making a little nest for itself. The doctor's like, yeah, your appendix is inflamed. It hasn't ruptured yet, but just go to the ER because they're gonna have to get it out of there. So I went to the ER. I went to a suburban hospital. I can tell it's suburban because the doctor was very just unimpressed with having to do another appendectomy. Just another boring day at the office for this surgeon. You could tell he's out in the suburbs like, can't we get a goddamn knife fight in this town? I went to school for real shit. As he came in the room I was in, he's like, yeah, we're gonna give you a laparoscopic appendectomy. He said that once. He only said that one time, laparoscopic appendectomy. And that was enough, too, because I was like, whoo, uh-oh. Because they charge by the syllable. So it's like, laparoscopic appendectomy. Esquire, the third, pump the brakes. After that, he just called it a lappy appy. I don't know about you guys, but I'm not a fan of a nonchalant attitude from a surgeon. Say the whole word. Earn your money, say laparoscopic appendectomy. He wasn't even saying it to make me feel comfortable. He was just saying it out of just shortening his job. Because they were saying it out in the hallway, too. They were just like, what's in room 9? It's a lappy appy. It's nothing exciting. Like, don't do cute nicknames before the procedure. If I live, we could be adorable afterwards. Afterwards, this shit, man, we could put glitter on the scars. I don't give a shit. But beforehand, say the whole term, make me feel safe. I have to go under anesthesia. People don't make it through anesthesia sometimes. I could still die, even if it's routine. What if I die? That's it. I died without any information about what was happening. I just show up in heaven or whatever I qualify for at this point. I don't know. I definitely have some strikes against my license by now. But anywhere you wind up where some ethereal being with a clipboard's like, oh, man, you weren't on the schedule today. And the best I can say is like, I guess my lappy appy went whoopsie poopsie. Didn't get much more information than that. But, yeah, well, thank God it went okie dokie, so we're here today. So I was thinking, but like, that's... Unless you had a situation where it ruptured and inflamed, you have an appendix in your body right now doing nothing except maybe making a doctor $25,000. And they just let babies leave the hospital with that. Does this baby have an unlit stick of dynamite in it? You betcha. There's just a bunch of walk-in scratch-off tickets for doctors like... Oh, it's my lucky day. New set of golf clubs. How about it? 25 grand. Meanwhile, I was circumcised like right away. That was the thing. That was the thing. Like, oh, we can't have him have that. Oh, hey, we got another baby born with too much dick. God, man, can't believe you think if it was unnecessary, evolution would take care of it. Now we got these babies keep doing. Too much noodle. Oh, should we wait till he's old enough to make up his own mind? Nah, nobody's ever wanted more dick later in life. At least not in the United States. Nope, just an American celebrating his freedom going, I guess this is all right. Look, would like to have a choice. Why is that the worst thing? Why is that the most horrible part of a new baby boy? The devil's calamari. Get it off of him. Why is that? Why is that? Listen, I may have ruined calamari for some of you, and you know what? Good. I'm glad I did. We gotta stop eating those animals. They're smart animals. We gotta leave them alone. Those are intelligent things. I'm sorry for the next trip you take to the Olive Garden. That you don't get to enjoy your favorite app. You getting the calamari? Well, I can't. Maybe I could eat the whole squid, but I can't eat the rings. I can't do the rings. Why not? That's the best part. A guy said a thing. I don't want to ruin your experience. I can't. I just can't. You're gonna dip that in marinara. I know we're here, but I do not feel like family right now. I will say, as pro-vaccine and I'm pro-science, I will say that right now. Also, I will say this. Consider the source material. First off, I'm a comedian. I shouldn't be a part of anybody's research. Ever. Just ever. But being on the podcast, no. Also, I will tell you to trust the science. But know this, I also get sunburns every year. Multiple sunburns. And that science has been out there since the sun. Since the first person has been like, oh, I gotta find some shade. I ignore that science every year. That's the dumbest look you could have in a first world country, is an adult with a sunburn just going, ha ha, fuck. Yeah, man, I really thought I was gonna get around it this year. I was doing yard work, but I was bobbing and weaving. I didn't think it was gonna get me this year. Nope, first nice day of the year, I'm just out there like, you don't want to SPF too early, you want to get a good base coat. You want to brown up even, then you can lotion up. Second nice day of the year, bright red screaming cancer. Got shoulders that look like French bread pizzas. Then after that, I've clearly tried to apply sunblock, but I've done it alone and been too proud to ask for help. And you can see that because you can tell I've just taken the tube, I will squeeze it over my head and just let it drizzle down, just magic shell style, just oozing down my face. Just a little hot fudge Kyle, that's all. My head and face are a ghoulish white, like the holograms from the Haunted Mansion showing up next to you. Ha! What you barbecuing? Blah. And the rest of it I kind of push down around my chest and shoulders. My back is just a series of violent handprints. Just furious slappings. It looks like demons tried to drag me to hell. But thank God the copper tone was too slick and they couldn't get their talons in. Praise Jesus. Not today, Satan. You will not capture my soul. For your demonic pits of hell, I managed to slip away in the flames of the underworld, only burnt a spiky, tribal Godsmack album cover looking thing. Relinquish your grasp, hellions. You don't know what's in those needles, dude. Fuck you. That was always said by people with the shittiest tattoos. You don't know what's in those needles, dude. It's always said by some dude who had like "Only God Can Judge Me" scribbled across his chest. Did it with a guitar string and India ink at his cousin's pig roast, you know? How many "Only God Can Judge Me" tattoos do you think have been in a courtroom? I'll tell you right now, it's all of them. It's every single one of those tattoos. Every single person who thinks only God can judge them has been judged by a terrestrial being. Only God can judge me. 18 months? Fuck, man. Even beforehand, even before the whole thing, the anti-vaxxers kind of made me like, vaccines cause autism, man. Vaccines are causing autism. Fucking good. We probably need more autistic kids. Yeah! They're the ones that keep beating robots at chess. And if you don't think that's an incredibly necessary individual in this day and age, all we do is keep getting information over to the algorithm. That's all we do. It's just like, oh, accept cookies, allow tracking. Come on, man, I'm trying to look at tits on this thing. It's only a matter of time before like, oh, the machines took over the banks and I can't get my folding money out to pay my bills. What are we gonna do? Well, we could ask Toby if he wants to take a break from building DNA strands out of Legos long enough to save the world again. Do you mind, Toby? We'd love your help. We'll get you the big chocolate milk this time. Greta Thunberg's autistic. She's trying to save the Earth from ourselves. And the best we can come up with is, she's like a girl. And she looks weird. She's a kid. So nah. Oh, good. Okay, I guess it's your unvaxxed, homeschooled, soft-boiled degenerate that's gonna save the universe. Yeah, that kid that's gonna overdose at an EDM concert and then fight with the paramedics over the flat earth theory is gonna be the one. Mama says on account of her womb being dead means that I'm just an angel for being here. Okay, we'll trust. Let's elect you into office. Listen, I'm a little burnt out even on the people that I agree with because it's getting a little too obnoxious on both ends of the spectrum. I'm a little sick of all my woke friends that they're woke, but they insist on having their own brand new white babies still. Like you can't be burdened with that much white guilt and you can't be like, we are the problem. Anyway, here's another one. No, you can't. Stop flooding the market with your shitty product. It's not how economics work. You know, there's plenty of kids out there to upcycle right now, so you don't need a new one. Or whatever term you want to slap on it to feel better. But then they'll try to defend it, be like, you don't understand, Kyle, we're gonna raise our child to be a feminist. You need to raise your child to digest plastic. That's who's gonna survive. That's who's gonna live. It's not looking good out there. That's what you need. But Kyle, I wouldn't care if my kid was trans. You should care if they have gills. You need a kid that can breathe smoke or water. That's what you need, a plastic-eating fish baby if you want any hopes of grandkids. So I bought this van, and the first stop with it to kind of test it all out, get used to it, I went down camping with friends. I went to Joshua Tree National Park. And yeah, okay, we know Joshua Tree, but also, you know national parks. This is Utah. You have, whoa, wow. Just stuff that you're like, don't anybody touch this. This is amazing. Arches, what's happening here? Look at, oh, dinosaur footprints? Oh, you mean God's little tricksters? Oh. Yeah, sure. Okay, I won't bother those. But you know, that is astonishing landscape. Just a little further south, Grand Canyon. I have to rub my eyes every time I'm there to be like, this is not a painting. This is a real, this is a geographic anomaly, oh, that big, that I'm looking at. But then you go to Joshua Tree after seeing that stuff, and you're just like, No. So you got the rock that's on top of the other rock over there. You know? That's pretty wild. Yeah, look at that. Anyway, what's over this way? Oh, bullshit. Oh, look at the rock that's on the rock and a couple trees and doing anything there. All right. So it's nice that it's there, but it's kind of just like, yes. It's like a geographic Kardashian, you know. It's hot and of no value, but we somehow keep trying to make it a thing, you know? So, you know, and all the honky witches from LA and the Stevie Nicks cosplayers go out there and recharge their crystals, which, all right, I'm making fun of it, but you know what? If crystals make you happy, you're not hurting anybody, go have your special rocks. People have rabbit's feet. Put a rock on a windowsill in the moonlight, and the next day you hold it, you feel less anxiety. You're not hurting anybody. Go for it. It's weird times. We all can extract energy from unorthodox sources in this world. Listen, I don't do crystals. That's not my thing. I find a balance and a fairness in this world, just an equilibrium. Whenever I see an attractive person getting on a Southwest flight last, That's when I know that there is some small undercurrent of justice in this world. You know, you just see a supermodel, just somebody gorgeous, a gorgeous individual, and then you see that C on their boarding card, and you know they have no idea. And you're like, oh, honey, you're about to learn how the world really works. Yeah, you got bumped off a United flight or something, now you're here with the great unwashed. This is gonna be fun. Because they always stand at the front of the plane with nothing but middle seats open. They're just like, but I can't, but why? But what am I gonna do? You're gonna rub some elbows with some stinkers. That's what you're gonna do. Squeeze in here with some slobs coming home from Vegas and make some friends. But so we went out there and just did, drugs. I mean, like, it's like that, but not, I don't even want to say it like in a woo, like, do you guys do this? I don't even, just did mushrooms. I just think they're good for you. They're good for you psychologically. Okay. And I'm not gonna preach. I'm not gonna proselytize about it. Do them safely, do them around people that have done them before that you trust, and do them outside. That's all you gotta, don't do them in an apartment, because you're just like, fucking, the toilet, it just has water that goes into the earth, man. Anything's a wishing well if you dream big enough, man. Is that where my car keys are? I'm turning it into a Ferrari. So just go, I mean, and you can have a bad trip, but it's not, I mean, I'm not even talking about acid. Just like, I had a bad trip on this one. Not bad, but like, I was with a group of dudes, and I was outnumbered as far as the soundtrack of the trip went, and so they wanted to listen to jam bands, and I found a new kind of hell for myself. If jam bands are your thing, good for you. Bless your heart on that stuff. I do not hear a jam. I never hear a jam. I hear 5 stepdads who do not know how to end a song. That's what I hear. I don't care what name of the band you tell me it is. It's one band that names them all. It's called Noodly Lou and the Turd Herders. And it's 5 dads in cargo shorts, and one guy wants to end it. You know, one guy in the band. There's no end to this joke. It just goes on. In being faithful to that genre of music, the joke just goes on until everybody's like, we do have to get out of here. That really, there's no shit on that one. But so, at the end of the weekend, everybody left. And, after we all just sat there frying out, sinking in the sand, everybody left. I was the last one to leave, and my van did the same thing. It sank into the sand. Who would have thought big old heavy van and loose sand wouldn't agree with each other? But I was the last one to go, so I'm just there by myself. Like, uh-oh, I'm spinning the tires, and I'm throwing debris under the tires, trying to get traction. I wish I was the guy that knew those kind of things. Just, we're just gonna leverage, you could put some weight on this opposite angle, and then the rear differential, that's actually gonna go counterclockwise unless you grab traction. I'm not that guy. I had to look up on the internet what to say for that part of the bit. The guy was like, they're going, but they're not going. It's around, but not forward. I'm just a guy who just is sweaty holding his phone, like, Usually there's a lot of answers. This. And I did. I looked at my phone. Had fantastic service out there. Go figure. Verizon. Hey, what are you, in the middle of nowhere? Full bars. Hey, you in an actual city where you live and conduct business? Why don't you suck our dicks? So that's... It's an odd choice for them to do that way. But I had full bar. I'm like, all right. I called AAA. I don't know. I've been paying them shits for years. I think, and I don't call them for the little things. Flat tire, do it myself. Ran out of gas, do it myself. I think I can call the big favor on them. So I'm like, all right, now AAA. And they're like, where are you located? I'm like, it's out there. Because we weren't even in the part of the national park where there were still rangers. We were just out in the mafia burial ground. So I was just like, there's not a lot of numbers out here. Unless you want to count cow skulls, I'll drop a pin and we'll see if that works. And to their credit, dropped a pin within an hour. I saw a little white AAA van just bopping along the dirt road that I came in on. Just come to bring, and I could see, because there's a van, so it's a big windshield, I could see from a distance the guy behind the wheel was just like... And he pulled, his window is down. The first thing he said, he just goes, I can't do anything. And I was like, I know, but now you're here. And two heads better than one. And so he was pissed, but he's obligated. So then we were just hanging out. Two of us were just leaning on his van, looking at my van. Neither one of us having any answers. And finally, after a while, he just goes, I can call Garrett. He gave me no context to who Garrett. He just said it like that's how we're gonna do it. We'll call Garrett. Does Garrett work for AAA too? Maybe Garrett has an independent towing company. Maybe Garrett has a gun and he's gonna come out and he's gonna put a bullet in my head and you guys are gonna split whatever you get for selling my van. And you can tell me that plan now like a supervillain, because you know, like, oh, you're gonna die. Let me tell you exactly how. So. But I have no choice but to be optimistic, so I'm like, oh, Garrett? Yeah. Shit, I mean, I don't know him, but that's a strong name. That's a guy who gets something done. Garrett will get it done. I don't know what it is, but he'll do it. Garrett, yeah. And this guy wasn't having my shit. He goes, he's got a 350. And I'm like, oh, man, maybe you can get like a 400? I don't know. What are we talking? I don't know. If these numbers are important, can you get more of the numbers? He's also got a Cummins. I'm like, what's that? Hope that's a go inside. He wasn't into the truck humor. He wasn't feeling it. So he shuffled off, and he called Garrett. And within 20 minutes, this Mad Maxian cloud just appeared on the horizon, just tearing at us as if born of the setting sun. This was the phoenix that was Garrett. And he was coming right at us. Now, you know national parks are very precious about them, and as they should be. They're trying to preserve that shit. But you get there, and they're not screwing around. They're like, stay on the trail. Leave no trace. Pack in what you pack out. Don't look at any of the animals in the face. They can't know you're here. Actually, we'd prefer it if you left. That should be the slogan for national parks. Welcome to your national parks. We'd prefer it if you left. You're really only harming this beautiful place. Garrett was not adhering to those rules. Garrett was a firm believer in the concept that the quickest way between 2 points was a straight line. So he was driving as the crow flies. Save for a couple swerves into the namesake shrubs. There was a couple deliberate moves where I could. Garrett was driving like somebody named Joshua had just fucked his mother. And he was taking it out on your tax-funded public land. There's a couple hard jerks of the wheel where you can tell he's like, just because your dick's in her doesn't mean I'm calling you dad. So that's what was tearing at us. And I could see it was a truck. Of course, truck. Give me a truck. I want a truck. Taller than that. Taller. Give me another one. Put it on top of that one. Tall. Now wide. Make it a dually. Thick. I want a thick truck. I want a truck with sexy hips. I want a juicy, curvy truck. I love my curvy truck. Give me a thick, tall, leggy, curvy truck with a big ass, a breedable ass. Big, wide, breedable ass. Something I can hang on to when we slow dance. Give me a big, thick, curvy, but nuts. Put nuts on it. Make sure there's nuts. Dangle some nuts. Dangle some little nuts off that fuckable ass. Thick truck, thick, curvy truck with nuts. Yeah, she'll do. She'll do. I got her parked around back. She'll tow it. Don't tell me you don't understand pronouns at that point when you got a big curvy truck with nuts that you call she and her. How can one thing be a they? Look at your truck, dude. You white trashed yourself into being progressive. You didn't even know it. And it was tall, and I get lift kits. I understand that there's some utility to having a lift kit, especially out there. You need ground clearance. But you know that some of these dudes that are getting lift kits, like they are just using altitude to hide from alimony payments. You can tell that some of those guys have, you're probably here now. You know what you did. You concocted your own legal loophole where you can't serve me papers if you can't reach me, dude. That's the law. That's just the law. That's the law. Just laying flat in the cab whenever baby mamas come around looking for money. Fuck, she's still out there, dude. Fuck, what money, Charisse? Look at this exhaust system. I don't have any money. That's what's coming at me. As it gets close, I can see that there's graphics on the truck. He's got graphics. And it's like a graphics, like a wrap. And it's the front of it, that's all I can see so far. It's skulls. Skulls. Yeah, skulls. I get it, skulls. They're unicorns for dudes. Skulls. Now I can see the side. I see that the skull wrap, it gives away. It didn't like fade to the next day. It was like clawed away. It was like the bald eagle came and like, you experience the justice. And then, because then the back half was just, it was all text. It was all like script, whatever font the Constitution's written in. I don't know what it's called, Patriot Sans or whatever, but that was all over the curvy hips of the truck. And I'm like right away I'm assuming probably 2A, probably Second Amendment. That's the kind of thing you see on this truck. Never really championing the First Amendment. You never see a bumper sticker on a truck like that that's just like, sing your truth. It's never that. It's usually some sort of come and take it type situation. So I'm reading it, but as I'm reading it, I don't see anything about right to bear arms or, defend. I just see shall prevent against illegal search and seizure and personal property and all that stuff. I'm like, that's the Fourth Amendment. My man Garrett has his truck wrapped in the Fourth Amendment. And that's when I realized something very specific had happened to Garrett. You don't just cherry pick. You're not just like, I'm an American, pick one, I don't care, wrap it up, dude. Something went wrong with Garrett for him to be like, Fourth Amendment. for that. He got busted selling reptile eggs on the dark web. But he found a flaw in the warrant and decided he could defend himself in court. That's the best I could come up with. He just showed up and just, said shit. Like, well, respectfully, Your Honor, okay, the warrant is looking for Bolivian salamanders. And if I could point you to Exhibit A, the evidentiary photographs, and you do not see any Bolivian salamander eggs here, do you? I'm not to the untrained eye, but I can tell you that these are Honduran geckos. Now that is a similar spotting for any people out there that's a similar spotting, but these are legal, and I believe the 13 to 18 of the lower the states that are stuck together. As long as I fill out the proper paperwork at the post office. Ergo, Your Honor, respectfully, this whole thing should be thrown out. Ergo. Respectfully. And you could tell she had just had enough. She's like, that's the third time this week, Garrett. No, God damn it. $75 fine. And that's what just sent him over the edge. Like, not in my America. Hell no. You do not tread on me. I will not be treadeth upon. You're treading on me. I don't want to be treaded on. Just fucking wrap the truck. Fourth Amendment. I'm not putting up with this shit no more. Fucking, you do not tread on me. Nobody tread. By the way, I do have the rattlesnake eggs from the Don't Tread on Me flag, but hit me up on my Hotmail because the feds are monitoring my Yahoo account, all right? I'm still just making up the story. I've not met Garrett yet. First impression I have of Garrett were his feet. I saw his feet because I was on the passenger side. I was eye level with the step rail. First thing I saw of Garrett was underneath. I couldn't see into the truck. I could see underneath the truck. I saw two little dangling slip-on Vans tennis shoes. That's what I saw. Just out there, just looking for the ground. Just, And for all the details, I do not remember the size of Garrett. I don't remember because all I know is that if you have to exit your vehicle like you're leaving a treehouse, you're gonna look like a little fella. You're gonna look tinier than you really are. But I kind of liked him right away because he had to take that leap of faith to get out of there. And he did it, even without seeing him, I could see it was a good attitude because the way he came down with a real, ha-ha, here's Garrett. Like a real ginger outlook on him. I liked it. So he came around the front. And this is the first time now I'm seeing Garrett in his full form. And he had this look. You probably know his look out here. It's very much a West Coast kind of look. I don't know how to describe it. It's kind of like L.A. gangster, but then it's also like white trash kind of dude. But like suicidal tendencies meets Supercross kind of look. Like, it's the tall socks and the long shorts, but then it's a Monster Energy shirt or some sort of energy drink. And then, but like the kind of guy that you could tell, even if he only spent one night in jail for a DUI, still like saying like, back when I was incarcerated, like they love something about the hard C and incarcerated. Oh man, when I was incarcerated, like you were there for 12 hours. And then the face is always too young for that. And I'm still scared of that look. Whatever age, I don't care, because even if you're not tough, you're still crazy. You still have like a sleeve tattoos and you do weird flips on motorcycles. I'm not gonna fight you. You know you have butterfly knives that you're clumsy with, but we'll still take them out. Fucking what, bro? What? Flurry of chrome, dude. Flurry of chrome. And then the neck up, it's always too young of a face. It's a goatee, but you could tell it's a goatee that they dream that it was bigger. You could tell they asked Jesus for it. They're like, at night, just, please. Doink. Oh, thank you. And the part that throws me off the most is that there's always a flat brim ball hat that's way too big. It always looks like a Peanuts character wearing it. And then they tuck their ears into the side. Do you guys know this look I'm talking about? All right, the ear thing throws me off the most. Because the rest of it, like, all right, kind of a gnarly, desert tweaker, mountain weirdo, I get it. But then The ears in the hat thing is always like, now that's like real Rudy vibes that undermine the whole toughness of the rest of it. Because it's like kind of tough, tough. And then up here, it's just like, Coach says, once I grow into the uniform, I'm going to be a real scrapper. And that's so confusing. Either way, that's who stood before me. This was Garrett. And he didn't waste any time. He goes, that's your van? I'm like, yeah. He's like, fucking sick. And went, he just had chains, got right back into his truck, got in, rolled some coal, pulled me right back onto the dirt road. Yeah. And that was it. That happened that fast. And I was like, oh shit, this is great. I'm saved. What I realized then is that we had not discussed payment yet. Yeah. We didn't go over that part. Now I'm in the desert and I owe a stranger a favor. And it's not often that later in life you get to have a new kind of fear. But I was like, uh-oh, we didn't talk about money. I don't have cash, and I don't have grass. I guess what I have right now is a very open mind. But I did have credit cards. Garrett's like, he's like, $200. I was like, oh, do you take credit cards? He goes, I'll take your credit cards. I meant as payment, not as just strong arm robbery. He's like, no, I got a square for my phone to swipe. I'm like, of course you do. It's great service out here, of course. Full bars, yeah, okay. But he's like, $200. I'm like, there's no way it's gonna be $200. Just tell me what you're gonna buy when you steal my credit card information. I'll get it for you. I don't wanna reset PIN numbers. Just put together an Amazon wish list like a porn star. I owe you. Let me hook you up. That was it. It was $200. There's no discrepancies on my credit card statements, and he got me out of there. And that's the end of that story, and it should be a good end. It is a good end, in theory. Well, the reason it's not a good end is because now I can't judge dudes like Garrett anymore. And that sucks. At 45, you want to be like, I'm set in my ways. I got things figured out. Now all of a sudden, I can't judge a book by its cover anymore. And that's a drag. That's my safe place in this world. That's where I feel comfortable, is walking around thinking I got everybody figured out, and so fuck them. That's how I feel good. Look at you. You dress like an asshole. I bet your kids don't love you. Oof, you got a girl pregnant in high school. Thank God I'm better than everybody around me. But no, now Garrett has to come along and flip the script on me, and now I gotta sit behind those trucks on the highway and think, like, instead of wanting to see him flip over and burst into flames, I'm like, you might be saving an asshole like me from dying in the middle of nowhere. Godspeed, Garrett. I don't know what to tell you. And it's weird because I think the world wants me to learn this lesson. It's a bad character trait to be judgmental like that. And I know that. I'm still that way. Garrett, that was part one of the lesson. I think part two is the fact that at 45, I don't know if it's age or if it's different medications that I'm on now because of my various ailments, I always have some pee in my pants. That's just as sure as rain's wet, I'll tell you. Not enough to go to the doctor, but enough to keep me humble, so I leave it there. I leave it there because I want to be a better person. It's like just a $50 worth at all times. I don't want it there. I shake twice, and then I strangle it a little bit, like it owes me money. Like, we're not going to do the drip again. Nah, boss man, nah. And as soon as I put it back in my pants, complete betrayal. Just a 3-lick little cat bath right in the front of my underpants. Like, meow, meow, meow. Just right there on the front. Like, yes. Cold tip, permanent cold tip. So between Garrett and that, I think the universe is trying to keep me in line, because I'll revert to that kind of way where I'm like, look at this asshole over here. Oh, I bet you got a girl knocked up in high school and then you never talked to her again. And then some part of my brain's like, you think he's got some pee in his pants right now? Like, you know what? Probably not. I don't know anything about you. You don't know anything about me. Let's just get on in this world and be okay with each other. Salt Lake City, thank you so very much. I can't thank you enough. Thank you, guys.
As I watch the smile on the palms. I hear a whisper through